the issue was not about how much money we made. The issue was, what were we doing with the money? The very first thing you can do as a couple to start healing from the financial trauma is to start talking to each other and unpacking your thoughts around money. So there are several different exercises that you can do individually as a couple. Many of you know me as a financial therapist, but I rarely talk about my journey that got me here. The reason why I decided to go into financial therapy, specifically when it comes to relationships and marriage. So I'm going to share a lot about my personal story today within my marriage to my ex-husband and what brought me to decide how important financial therapy is, specifically when you're in a relationship. And then we're going to just talk about some things to look out for and how to improve your marriage and your finances. So today we are talking about money and marriage. The history of my marriage and money. When I got married, thinking about how we were going to handle finances was furthest from my mind. We actually already had kids, we already had a household, so basically we were already managing finances previously because we were living together. Things really started getting tough, and when I think back, I always had this fear around money, and it came from my childhood, from experiences that I went through. My parents went through a devastating loss financially. We went through a bankruptcy, we lost our house, we lost vehicles. We had to move to another state with family so that my parents could rebuild financially. So in my head, it was a situation that, I needed to hold on to the money, or somehow I feared money because I didn't want the same thing to happen to me. Unfortunately, we didn't lose everything, but I ended up filing for bankruptcy. We ended up filing for bankruptcy. It was very scary, didn't quite know what was going on. Definitely concerned about how to start over when it came to our finances. Just feeling so many emotional ups and downs, feeling shame, feeling blame. And then within our marriage, the lack of communication that we had when it came to our finances. So when we did end up filing for bankruptcy, we still weren't really talking. We weren't really getting into the weeds, the reasons why this was even happening to us, the overwhelming amount of debt we had, losing our car, going through all of these things, even how we dealt with our kids when it came to finances and making decisions about them financially. Yes, I was the one that was responsible for the finances. But even as the responsible person, the one that was handling the bills, understanding what was going on with our finances, it was still both of our responsibilities to make sure he knew what was going on, to make sure that I was communicating to him what was going on and did not constantly take on the brunt of all of our finances about what was going in and coming out. I understand that he trusted me, and I appreciate that. But at the same time, everything was on me. And when I look back, I put so much pressure on myself because I didn't want the same thing to happen for me as an adult that happened when I was a child. So fast forward, after the bankruptcy, I realized how important it was, number one, as a couple, for us to be on the same page. Number two, I did not want to ever go through the things that we went through during our bankruptcy. One of the biggest aha moments that I've talked about before is when the tow truck came to take our car. I literally was in the middle of the night. The car was parked outside the driveway, and they came and took the car, and our kids' car seats were in the car. I literally was running down the street chasing the tow truck because I did not want them to take the car seats, because we had to take the kids early in the morning to daycare, and we didn't have money anyway to buy new car seats for two babies. That was a serious wake-up call for me, that we had to figure out something different. And although we may have not been making the money that we wanted to. The issue was not about how much money we made. The issue was, what were we doing with the money? Yes, we were paying bills, and we, in my opinion, we were living as responsibly as we could. But had I known what I know now in terms of how we can really utilize our money to the best of our ability, to how to not be in so much debt and keep continuing this cycle of paying one thing, borrowing another, paying one thing, borrowing another, and just surmountable debt just adding up and adding up and adding up, living beyond our means. And like I said, we weren't living some extravagant life, but I know that there are things that we could have changed and created so that it would have been a lot easier for us. So like I said, fast forward, I ended up learning about credit. I ended up learning about the reason why couples end up breaking up when it comes to their finances. I really dug in deep because I felt like if financial issues was the top 5 reasons why couples break up, then what is the cycle in here? What are we not seeing? What is missing? Communication. But the communication lies in people's trauma with money, where we came from, how we think about it, how maybe we connect shame and things that happened in our life to the money that we didn't have, the thoughts of a lack mindset, the thoughts of scarcity, the thought of running out. There's someone that is overspending because they feel like they didn't have it, or they want to have it and they just spend all their money out of fear that if they don't spend the money, then it's going to go somewhere and they're not going to get the things that they want. It's so many environments and places that we all come from, and then we're getting into relationships, and we're 2 different people coming from 2 different environments, 2 different ways that we learned about money and how we communicate it in our house around finances. So I know my story is not different than a lot of people's, but for me now as a financial therapist, the main thing is that I want to help people to understand that even the place that they're in, they don't have to stay there. Yes, it's going to take work for you to change your mindset around money. Yes, it's going to take work for you and your partner to set up a different strategy with communication. Yes, it's going to take time for you guys to get on the same page, to understand the importance of you listening to each other, valuing each other when it comes to your mindset around money, and making decisions that are going to benefit your family and to be able to heal from each individual's financial trauma. The very first thing you can do as a couple to start healing from the financial trauma is to start talking to each other and unpacking your thoughts around money. So there are several different exercises that you can do individually as a couple. One of the first things that I suggest is writing down every single thing that comes to mind individually when you think about money, when you think about spending money, when you think about your own relationship with money, how you feel about money, when you think about the feelings that you get when you think about your childhood and how money was communicated to you, when it comes to your future and how much money you want to create in the future. All of those things create a feeling. It creates a theme. So if each of you write down these feelings, these themes of those things, and then you meet together, you can see many times the differences in how both of you communicate and connect and your mindset when it comes to money. The second thing is, once you go through this and you understand how both of you view money, you start setting up regular meetings to talk about your finances, breaking down everything that you have that's coming in, the things that you have to be financially responsible for. You start talking about your goals and the things that both of you want, and you start creating a plan together step by step to how to create a different financial outlook for each other. So if it's something like both of you have debt that you would like to decrease the debt, you have to create a plan to do so. There are so many strategies and ways to reduce debt, but you have to figure out the right one for you, whether that's working with a financial advisor, whether that's understanding and organizing your thoughts and mindset around money, working with a financial therapist like myself. There are so many resources online. There are apps. There is tutorials on YouTube. The whole point is, no matter what resource you use the resources that best work for you and your partner. And then lastly, what are your visions for the future? What are your thoughts around retirement? What are your thoughts about saving money, investing money, creating wealth for your family? Even when you think of buying real estate, or you think of even going on a simple vacation. So all of these things are things that need to be thought out, that need to be planned, that you need to have a strategic approach when it comes to your finances. Starting to open this Pandora's box when it comes to talking about money with your partner and uncovering these things about yourself. Please be patient with yourself. Give yourself grace, because it's not an easy place to be. But if you do this step by step and you set these regular meetings with your partner and you guys start understanding each other better when it comes to money, I promise you that your life, that your home, your environment will be totally different. It will be much more calm. You will want to spend more time together, because our money mindset can create such a tension between you and your partner. The silence is something that at some point sometimes goes unnoticed. This will just create a lot more happiness for the both of you. Dealing with your money matters is something that can bring you closer together as a couple. It will help you to expand your mind. It will help you to be more creative when it comes to your future and your outlook with money. And this can only benefit you personally. It can benefit you as a couple and completely transform your lives and your family's life. If you like this content, remember to ring the bell, subscribe. Share this content with friends, and remember to comment. I love to see all the comments, especially when you share personal information about your relationships. It really helps me understand how to create content that can help people when it comes to their money mindset, when it comes to releasing and helping people heal from trauma. Thank you for spending time with me. And remember, you are your greatest value. You are your greatest asset. Take care.